Coming up in today's video, I'll be fabricating some custom 3-inch stainless steel turbo downpipes for a very special V8 powered monster, taking things to the next level when it comes to what I'm able to create. Or it all might just go tits up and I set my first car on fire. So stay tuned and enjoy the video. Now, I don't know about you, but my all-time favorite modification to do on any vehicle has to be the exhaust. It certainly is the most rewarding. I mean, if I had a gas-powered lawnmower, you know I would straight pipe that thing. And maybe even strap the turbo on it. But today, we have something way better. Let's check it out. And there we have it. So, someone, and I'm not going to mention any names, Ruan, was crazy enough to give me the keys to this BMW M6 for some exhaust work. So the plan is to remove the restrictive catalytic converters and build some custom 76mm or 3-inch downpipes. One downpipe for each turbo. That should free up this V8 to breathe and maybe even make a bit more horsepower, as if the over 550 horsepower isn't enough. But let me go ahead, lift up the car and show you how it looks underneath and why I'm not building a full system. The reason I'm only gonna be building some new downpipes for the car, removing the catalytic converters and building some new downpipes, is because we already have a full 3-inch system going from the front of the car out the back. And as an added bonus, we also have an X-pipe. And if you know anything about a V8, an X-pipe is a really good thing to have in your exhaust. Apparently, it has a much better sound to it. So, there's no reason to change up any of the exhaust. I only need to build some downpipes, and I will be building those out of some stainless steel. So yeah, really excited about that. By building some custom downpipes, we should get the sound we want. So without further ado, let's get into it. A couple of days ago, I started off by removing the bracket which the two engine ECUs mount onto, the heat shield under that, and finally the two cats to see how the system works and also get a plan of action going. I will be cutting off the two flanges that connect to the turbos and reusing them, as well as the two reducers that slide into the exhaust system at the bottom. That way I don't need to do custom flanges and everything will mount up in the exact same way it came. I cleaned these pieces up and I have a good starting point to work from. Next up was going out and picking up the material needed to get started. I got a 6-meter length of 76mm polished stainless steel tube. Then I also got 4 90-degree bends, also 76mm, 4 O2 sensor fittings, and some 4-inch to 2-inch reducers. Now these are brushed stainless, unfortunately, so they have a bit of a different look, but I'm sure it'll still look real good once everything is said and done. Now with all the material ready to go, I got started on the turbo flange. That measures around 90mm, so I need to step it down to meet up with the 76mm tube it'll flow into. To cut these with the bandsaw, I have to weld a piece of steel to it so I can clamp it down at a 90-degree angle to get a nice straight cut on it. I probably shouldn't start off by cutting something this oddly shaped for my first time ever using the bandsaw, but here goes nothing. And at first, things seem to be going smoothly. Until it didn't. First of all, the way I mounted it wasn't sturdy enough, and as soon as it moves even the slightest, the blade bites into the super hard stainless and knocks the piece out of position. But eventually I got the first piece cut, but I'll definitely have to mount these pieces better if I want these cuts to be precise like I need them to be. That'll just make welding so much better. I tried clamping it down with a big G-clamp and that seemed to work a bit better. Well, until it gets in the way. Now bear with me, I'm learning as I go here. I also tried using some lube to help things along, and it did help a bit. So with these first two reducers cut that I need, I moved on to try cutting a few straight pieces of tube, as it should mount up better and hopefully cut through it a bit easier. Definitely wasn't any easier, but a couple of hours later I got these few pieces ready to start tack welding them together and see how it fits on the engine. As always, my measuring skills suck, so I had to trim down the one piece, tack weld it up again to get that perfect fit. At this point, I called it a day and went to go do some research on this bandsaw. No way cutting things should be this difficult.
Early the next morning,
and what do you know, it turned out the blade that came with the brand new bandsaw wasn't made for cutting stainless. I needed to get a bi-metal blade for it, and my problems should be at an end. This old blade was cooked within a few cuts, so I swapped it out for the new blade to try this again. The next piece of the downpipe that'll go down behind the engine had to be cut at a 5-degree angle. And with this new blade on the machine, it made all the difference. It's still very time consuming, but much better. Then just to tack it and do yet another test fit. Looking under the car, you can see how little room there is to work, but with that, I could now find the angle of the final few pieces that'll connect up to the exhaust. Once in place, this piece sits at around a 67 odd degree angle. Now I just need to level it out as the final connecting point needs to turn straight down and slide into place. The difference was at about 34 or so degrees, so I had to cut 2 pie cuts of 17 degrees each to get it level. Now to add the step down from the 67 to the 70 millimeters of the final piece. While working with stainless, I quickly learned how much more it tends to move around than the mild steel I'm used to working with. And again, to get the best welds, there has to be little to no gaps. And there we have it. The first downpipe is all together and ready for the final test fit. That's a perfect fit and ready to be fully welded up. But I want to weld both of these up once I made all the pieces for the second downpipe, because honestly, that is the fun part of this whole process. But at least now, with this first downpipe all figured out, the second downpipe will come together way easier. It's basically just copy and paste all the pieces. And now that I've had some more practice and paid my school fees on the bandsaw, that should go way smoother too. For example, I learned to build a better and sturdier mount to cut this reducer. I was curious to see how long one of these cuts actually takes, so I decided to time this one.
That's over 16 minutes on each cut. That's just not gonna work. So I changed up the belt ratio to speed things up. And man, am I glad I did that. It literally takes 1/3 the time for each cut now. I told you I'm learning as I go, and things are already going way better than when I first started using this machine.
Much better. So one last test fit to make sure everything is 100% before we get these fully welded up. Like a glove. I'm really proud on how these welds came out, even if I do say so myself. There is definitely room for improvement, no doubt about that, but I am really happy with these downpipes. Now for the final pieces to be added on are these 4 O2 sensor fittings. I got the exhaust shield back in place to mark out where these need to go so they sit where the old O2 sensors used to sit. Now I thought cutting stainless steel was difficult, but trying to drill out these holes turned out to be, well, impossible. So I turned the amps all the way up on the TIG welder and melted these holes through. Where there's a will, there's a way. And then from there, it was a bit easier to drill these holes to the correct size and get the fittings welded into position. For the final step, I will be wrapping these with exhaust wrap. Because of the placement of the turbos in the engine bay, heat could easily be a big problem. So this should help out a lot with that. Now I was advised to let the exhaust wrap soak in a bit of water for a couple of minutes before you start wrapping, and then also when you do the first start up you want to wet them again, and then with that first heat cycle they like form into the shape around the exhaust. And then try my best to do a decent job. I started wrapping them from top to bottom and using some stainless steel clamps to keep everything nice and tight. Looks so cool. Alright, So after I got those new downpipes heat wrapped, which came out looking really good, first time ever doing something like that, I got everything back together and I think we should be ready to hear this thing roar to life. Let's do that. Now I have this sneaky suspicion that the cold start is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Let's hear it. Here goes nothing. So the cold start didn't last very long, but let me give it a few seconds to heat up, then we'll give it a few revs. So it's been sitting idling for about 5 minutes, we should be good. That is absolutely insane. Well worth the blood, sweat and tears. Holy smokes. But there we have it. I think this M6 sounds absolutely insane. And I think Ruan is gonna love it too. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to take it out for a test drive because there is some kind of issue with the gearbox, but it should be fixed really soon. And then we can take it out for a little test drive. Now, I really do hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed because what I did there is nothing compared to what's coming up in the next video. So do stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you then. Peace.